Vitamin D. Okay, we just introduced a vitamin D a while ago, and I'm sure that if you've been out there talking to people, there's D2, D3, what? So this is nature's plan for vitamin D. Okay, we get some from plants, some from animals, and some from the sun. It's a very simple plan, very elegant plan, you know, as it usually is. So there's not much question there. This is where we get it. But in the marketplace, this is going on. Right? We have this big argument, which is better? D2 is better than D3. D3 is better than D2. And, you know, basically it's because marketers need to differentiate themselves in order to fulfill a need that you don't know you have until they create that need in you, okay? I like to say it's hard to be a white knight if you don't have a dragon to slay. Well, you know, what are you going to do? So in this case, there's this big argument going on inside industry. Well, scientifically, that argument shouldn't exist. In nature's plan, it doesn't exist. And scientifically, it doesn't exist. Here's what science is telling us. Conclusion, and this is a big study from 2013. D2 and D3 were effective in raising and maintaining total serum 25-OHD. That's the active version of vitamin D in your body. Ingestion of D2 also resulted in increased serums of 125-OHD2, just a complicated portion of that. This increase was accompanied by a comparable decrease in serum, which means it's being converted. Therefore, the total 125, ignore all that stuff. Concentration is significantly better. In conclusion, therefore, ingestion of 1,000 IUs of D2 or D3 for 11 weeks was effective in raising total serum concentrations of active vitamin D, as well as maintaining serum concentrations of total active vitamin D. So the science doesn't support the controversy. The controversy is purely marketing. It's purely hype. You go into the internet, and there's always somebody willing to hype one little thing, right? Trying to create make a big monster out of one little thing that doesn't make any sense. So here's some more. This is about bioavailability. Effects of D2 and D3 supplemented on 25-OHD levels. Maybe dosing schedule sex dependent. Maybe. Probably needs further research. D2 was associated with a reduction of this. It goes on to say D2 may be 25-hydroxy activated faster than D3. The question's always been, if you give the two together, and we saw this in our studies, why does one disappear from the bloodstream quicker than the other? And what does that mean? Well, what the data says, is that D2 is actually activated more rapidly than D3. Doesn't mean you don't need D3. It just means that the body seems to have a preferential pathway for activating D2. It will activate the D3 also. So here's another one. This is from the Office of Dietary Supplements. In foods and dietary supplements, vitamin D has two main forms, D2, ergocalciferol, D3, cholecalciferol, that differ biochemically by their side chain structure. So they look exactly the same molecule, except one's got a side chain structure here and the other's got a side chain structure here. So chemically, your body's just happy as heck with both of them. It says both forms are well absorbed in the small intestine. Absorption occurs a simple passive diffusion. So again, this is that question of, in a marketplace, they'll say, well, D2 isn't bioavailable or D3 is more bioavailable. And no, that's not true. They do their own sort of clinical study and sort of ignore the data. Behind, our data, I always tell you that we have a claim that we make, and below that is a pyramid of data. A big, broad pile of data. They tend to get out there and make one claim based on one thing because the pile of data defeats their sales strategy, right? They like to speak to people who don't ask questions. So there's no argument which is the best way to get this done, Vegan D, and then get out in the sun, be outside, be outdoors, be active. The sun is not your enemy unless you're lathering yourself up with mineral oil and laying in the hot sun for hours and hours and hours. But otherwise, the sun has been with us since day one. And we're here many days downstream, so what does that tell you?